moment I heard this will be an NFL record, I'm like, oh, it's going to be good.
There it is.
Yeah. Of course it's going to be good. Let's take the whole situation, right, and reverse it and say it was Prater that was trying a 66-yarder.
If this was
Matt
Prater on the
year,
Lions.
Yeah, when Prater was a Lion. And he tries a 66-yarder, and it hits the crossbar. Which way does it bounce? It doesn't bounce through. We know this. There's no way it bounces through. Look, this montage has Aaron Rodgers' Hail Mary, has Calvin on the process, has Edinger's field goal, has Muehlbach botching a snap, has Golden Tate's runoff with a ref screwed up, and it ruled it wrong on the field, and because it was reviewed, overturned, there was a 10-second runoff, and the game was over and the Lions lost. Things that don't happen in other places happen here. Eddie Murray missing a field goal while Monty Clark prays. Tom Dempsey. Yeah. I mean, to start with Tom Dempsey and a record field goal.
My nephew literally just texted me. He said, didn't this happen to the Lions in 1970?
Yes.
When somebody kicked a 63-yarder? Like, yeah.
You had a Schwartz throw a challenge flag on a play that was already reviewable, which which nullifies the review.
Right.
I mean, stuff that doesn't happen elsewhere, and much of it is self-inflicted. I mean, let's face it. They had a 4th and 19. They had a 4th and 19. They had a chance to go for a kill shot, more of a kill shot with a touchdown. There's all kinds of things that led up to it. But in the end, it's our identity that prevails. The identity of the Detroit Lions in vintage, classic, seen-it-before fashion is always going to win out. That's a hard thing to shake. God bless him. God bless Jared Goff. Did you hear what he said post-game? That's about as big as a gut punch as I've ever been a part of. The gut punches are going to stop. It's so cute.
Because we know better. Because we've seen it come time. Look, even good teams are going to have gut punches, so you can't say that.
Yes.
And he's been here for all 3 games, and it's sad that he's already immersed in the culture. He knows what it is because we've all been through this. Oh man, I mean, it was such an opportunity yesterday. You had a team that was decimated without their starters, without 7 starters on defense. Baltimore was. Mm-hmm. The Lions defense, couple of changes, and look what a difference it made. I mean, bringing in Reeves-Maybin and Barnes at linebacker, and Anzalone looked like a completely different player. They did a great job in limiting the Ravens to 19 points.
And the Ravens shot themselves in the foot. They
sure
dropped
they did,
a couple
but
touchdown passes. They missed an earlier field goal.
You know what? That happens to every team in every game. Stuff like that happens,
sure,
okay?
Sure.
And then they get made up because they get to play at the end and they make up 3 points there, or there were blown coverages by the Lions, right? I mean, this stuff happens. But the fact was they held them to 19 points. That defense against that offense which ran roughshod over the first 2 opponents this year, even though they split those games, but they put up a bunch of points, over 30 points against the Raiders, over 30 points against Kansas City. They were averaging like 200 yards a game on the ground. The Lions did a great job defensively against Baltimore. Now, it was after last week's game, the Monday night game, that Dan Campbell come out and said that the offense let us down when the defense couldn't stop Aaron Rodgers. This week, I'll agree. The offense let you down. Because against that defense that didn't have any starters in it, had a handful of starters playing on defense, and they just could not move the football in the first half. Started to do it a little bit in the second half. It was as if they just totally, said, we're going with the short game, and it started to work. They started getting big chunks of yardage, even though it was, a little screen pass off to the side. Boom, he breaks a tackle and goes for 9 yards instead of getting nailed for a 2-yard loss. Swift did a great job, and did a great job here and here. But it's amazing that it's just right now it's just little pockets of goodness that you see from this team. It's not enough to sustain for a full game. But I was encouraged a little bit by the second half offensively, and yet there are things I'm really upset about and I'm concerned about offensively that happened in the second half as well.
The bulk of most of our lives, this has been the Detroit Lions. The bulk of most of our lives, the Detroit Lions, they find a way, and breaking this cycle seems to be a monumental task. And maybe it'll happen someday, but, hey, You know what everybody's thinking. Same old Lions is still fully intact until we see otherwise. And I don't know what it's going to take. It's probably going to take a crossbar shot to go over for the Lions. It's probably going to take an NFL rule getting changed because it benefited the Lions.
Yeah.
It's going to take
somebody gets a taunting penalty.
Yeah, exactly. Some consecutive, consequential, game-changing moments that go the Lions' way before the cycle feels like it's broken. But the cycle feels like it's fully intact. Now, like you said, you laughed, and I sound mad. I'm not really mad because there's no premium on this season. The fact we're never going to look back and go, oh, God, if that ball just didn't go over the crossbar. Because they're not winning anything this year. There are going to be games in the future, we hope, if everything starts playing out the way it might under Brad Holmes, but there are going to be games in the future that are more important to win than this one was. This one was just right out of our playbook.